Today, we're tackling something you probably eat without a second thought: the sandwich. But have you ever stopped mid-bite and wondered why it's called that? It's not because it sounds like sand or witch. No, the name has a fascinating backstory tied to history, nobility, and a bit of gambling. Stick around as we unpack the full story, from ancient eats to modern munchies. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. Picture this. Wait, no, let's skip the imagery and get straight to the fact. The sandwich as we know it was born out of a late-night gaming session in 18th century England. One man, too obsessed with his cards to pause for dinner, sparked a culinary revolution. And his name? It became synonymous with one of the world's most popular foods. But was he really the inventor, or just the guy who got the credit? By the end of this video, you'll know the truth, and maybe even try making a historical sandwich yourself. Alright, let's start at the beginning. Way before the word sandwich even existed, people have been stuffing fillings between bread for thousands of years. Think about it. In ancient times, around 1st century BC, a Jewish scholar named Hillel the Elder is credited with creating what we might call an early sandwich during Passover. He'd take bitter herbs and lamb, smear them with a paste of nuts and apples called charozit, and sandwich it all between two pieces of matzah. This Hillel sandwich, or koresh, is still part of Passover Seders today. So, was this the first sandwich? Technically, yes, but it didn't have the name. Fast forward to the Middle Ages in Europe. Bread was a staple, and folks would use thick slices as edible plates called trenchers. You'd pile on meats, veggies, or stews, eat the top stuff, and then either munch the soaked bread or toss it to the dogs. It was practical, portable, and predates our modern version by centuries. In fact, similar ideas popped up worldwide. In Mexico, there were early forms of tortas, with fillings and flatbreads. In the Middle East, pita pockets with falafel or meats. And in China, rojiamo, which is basically shredded meat in a steamed bun, dating back over 2,000 years. But none of these were called sandwiches. So where does the name come from? Enter John Montagu, the 4th Earl of Sandwich. Born in 1718, this British nobleman was a big deal. He served as First Lord of the Admiralty, basically running the Royal Navy during key times like the 7 Years' War. But he was also a notorious gambler and workaholic. Legend has it that in 1762, during a marathon card game, some say it lasted 24 hours straight, Montagu didn't want to leave the table. He asked his servants to bring him slices of meat tucked between two pieces of toasted bread. That way he could eat with one hand while holding his cards with the other, keeping his fingers grease-free. Was this groundbreaking? Not really. People had been doing similar things forever. But Montagu's social status made it trendy. His friends at the table started ordering the same as sandwich, and the name stuck. The story first appeared in print in 1765 in a French travel book by Pierre-Jean Grosley, who described English nobles eating this way. Then, in 1770, it showed up in English literature. By the late 18th century, sandwich was a common term. Now, let's debunk some myths. First, was Montagu really at a gambling table? Some historians say it might have been during long work sessions at his desk, not just cards. He was known for his dedication to naval affairs, often working through meals. Second, he wasn't the inventor. His biographer even notes that similar bread and meat combos were common among laborers. But credit often goes to the famous, right? And sandwich had notoriety. He was involved in scandals like the Hellfire Club, a secret society known for wild parties. Plus, his name lives on in more than food. The Sandwich Islands, now Hawaii, were named after him by Captain Cook, who he sponsored. As the term spread, sandwiches evolved. In the 19th century, they became a staple in Britain and America. The Industrial Revolution meant more people needed quick, portable lunches. Enter the sandwich. By the 1820s, American cookbooks like The Virginia Housewife included sandwich recipes. Fast forward to the 20th century. The Earl's simple meat-between bread exploded into varieties. Think club sandwiches, invented in 1894 in a New York gambling house. Ironic, huh? With turkey, bacon, lettuce, tomato, and mayo on 3 slices of bread. Let's break down some global twists to pad this out, because sandwiches aren't just an English thing anymore. In Vietnam, the banh mi combines French baguettes from colonial times with Vietnamese fillings like pickled vegetables, cilantro, and meats, a fusion born in the 1950s. In Italy, panini are grilled sandwiches, but the word just means little breads. Cuba gave us the cubano, roasted pork, ham, Swiss cheese, pickles, and mustard on Cuban bread, pressed hot. And don't forget the American classics, the Philly cheesesteak from the 1930s with thinly sliced beef, cheese, and onions on a hoagie roll, or the Reuben, invented in the 1920s. In Omaha or New York, there's debate, with corned beef, sauerkraut, Swiss, and Russian dressing on rye. Did you know the world's most expensive sandwich sold for over $28,000? It was a grilled cheese with a supposed image of the Virgin Mary, auctioned on eBay in 2004. Or that astronauts eat sandwiches in space. NASA developed tortilla-based ones to avoid crumbs floating around. And statistically, Americans eat about 300 million sandwiches a day. That's nearly 1 per person. But is the sandwich story all rosy? There's debate. Some say the name comes from the town of Sandwich in Kent, England, where Montague was Earl. Others point to earlier uses of the word in literature. And culturally, not everyone agrees on what counts as a sandwich. Is a hot dog a sandwich? 2 pieces of bread? Nah. What about an open-faced one? Purists say no, it needs 2 slices enclosing the filling. This sparked the sandwich alignment chart meme in 2017, categorizing foods by structure and ingredients. Chaotic neutral? A Pop-Tart. The sandwich represents convenience, creativity, and culture. From humble beginnings to global icon, it's proof that necessity, or addiction to cards, breeds invention. So there you have it, the sandwich isn't just food, it's a slice of history named after a gambling earl. Next time you grab one, think of John Montague. If you enjoyed this deep dive, give it a thumbs up, drop a comment with your favorite sandwich type, and subscribe for more origin stories.